Okay, let's talk about counteroffers. This is a topic I get asked a lot about and a conversation I have a lot with candidates that I'm in process with. So, in this video, I'm going to go through how to think about counteroffers, what to do if you get one, some best practices, some things to think about. But I really liked thinking about counteroffers through the lens of a romantic relationship. I actually think there's a lot of parallels between dating and recruiting, which is maybe a story for another day. But specifically to counteroffers, I think about it like this, right? If you didn't feel valued and loved while you were in a romantic relationship, then last minute efforts to win you back while you're on your way out is not that person showing that they care about you. It's them showing desperation. And likewise, you staying because of those efforts is really you staying out of fear, not love. And so, similarly with companies, if you're not feeling valued or feeling like you're continuing to grow and develop, then your company throwing more money at you isn't going to change that. And if you're in a job you hate, taking more money from them doesn't make it worth it. It's really just validating your misery. And honestly, I personally feel validating misery because of money is actually devaluing your worth and your energy. And, something to think about, if your company is actually willing to pay you more, then why did you have to go get that validated by someone else in order for them to see your worth, right? Just like romantic relationships, the behavior likely won't change in the long term, and it's not actually solving the real problem. So there's a ton of data out there if you ever want to do some research yourself. There's a lot of information online around these topics. But typically 50% of candidates who accept a counteroffer are looking within 60 days, and 80% are active again within 6 months. So no matter how you look at it, a counteroffer is just a band-aid. And honestly, a counteroffer is likely a stalling method for management to start looking for your replacement. It's likely that they're buying time just like you are. So if you put your notice in and the company comes back with a counteroffer, accept it at your own risk. You've been warned. But here are also some suggestions that you can think about. So, first of all, remember why you started looking in the first place, and remember what the new company that you just accepted with is providing you. In all my experience, I've never had anyone tell me that they were simply looking for a new job just to get more money. And if this is your primary motivator, then I suggest having some discussions with your current company around a raise or a bump in comp before you start looking. But I think it's helpful to start by coming back to your initial motivators. Remind yourself why you started looking, and remind yourself what the company that you accepted from is providing around that. Number two, I think this is maybe the most important piece, which is remember that your relationships and your network is your most valued currency in your professional life. So not only will taking a counteroffer burn the bridge with the company and team you just accepted from, but it also doesn't make you look good at your current company. You just put your notice in, then you changed your mind when giving more money. Think about what message that's sending to the leadership, to your team, to the people you work with. This is obviously your choice and you have to do what's best for you, but I strongly urge you to consider the impact on the relationships that you're currently involved with. Now, if you're following my advice, which I recommend you do, if your team and company presents a counteroffer, here's my suggestion. Decline it gracefully. Start by thanking them. Let them know you appreciate their efforts and that you're honored that they feel so positively about you, that they're making an effort to keep you. Then reiterate what you shared when you first put your notice in. And if you haven't watched my video on resignation, I go through some ways to do that gracefully and some ways to have that conversation. But essentially, you want to just reiterate that it's been an incredible journey. You're super grateful, but this is the right time for you to move on, and this is an opportunity that you can't pass up. Keep it simple, keep it clear, be genuine, and of course, make sure to thank them. It is an effort, and it is them showing that they care about you. It's just not going to fix the original problem. But you can still let them know that you're grateful for the opportunity and that it's not the right time for you to stay. It is the right time for you to move on. Lastly, I also share this in my video on resignation best practices, but be sure to follow through on your promises and leave the team and the company in a good place as you leave. One of our values at 180 is to do as much as we can to leave things better than we found them. And I feel this is a great example of putting this into practice. Once you put your resignation in, make sure that you don't flake on the things that you said you were going to do, and make sure you do everything in your power to leave the team in a good place as you transition out. Again, I've said this so many times before, but your relationships are the most valuable thing you have in your professional career. And this is an opportunity to show your character. It's an opportunity to leave a lasting impression, a positive one, ideally. And it's an opportunity to make sure that those relationships will continue to be something that you value throughout the remainder of your career.